Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Stop Doing Nothing TV. This is our weekly show, and this week I'm very excited to interview someone who I consider a personal friend and somewhat of a savior because she guided me across New York when I was lost and I was supposed to meet her, and I went miles and miles out of way, and I thought I was never going to get a chance to meet her, and she led me towards her on the boat and had a glass of, I think,
Yes.
champagne waiting for me. And I was sweaty, and she took me in, she gave me a hug, and it was so great to meet her. So everybody, I would like to introduce you to my friend, Stephanie Lichtenstein, and she runs micro media marketing. And today we're going to be talking about kind of how she started her business. Did I get the pronunciation right, or did I screw it up?
You did.
Okay.
And now I'm just remembering that great day that we met. And we were having mimosas, actually. It was a nice brunch on the boat with all the speakers at Affiliate Summit.
Right.
It was such a good time to meet. I'm so glad we got to speak there.
And I was very happy because, like I said, I don't think without you, because I was a part of New York I had never been to, and I accidentally went across the bridge, and I'm like, am I here? You're like, Patrick, you are nowhere near here. What are you doing?
Yeah, I think they were in another borough.
Yes, that's what it was. And I got out, and Uber wasn't an option. Even the Uber guy said, dude, you do not want to get on Uber right now. So, but yeah, that was at the Affiliate Summit East conference, and she runs a boutique social media agency. And so the first thing I think of when I see that name is, can you explain to me, what does that mean? What does micro media marketing mean when you say It's a boutique place?
Right. So basically, 8 years ago, I actually was in the online marketing space, and I worked with an agency that did everything under the sun when it came to online marketing. Mm-hmm. So I was able to open up their social media department, and I ended up moving to New York. So, the city of dreams, full of entrepreneurs and great energy. And my parents are actually entrepreneurs. So I always had that side that I thought, I got bit by that bug when I was in New York. And I decided I wanted to go on my own. I got a little bit of consulting clients, and my main focus and my main passion was social media. So I wanted, instead of, doing website design or SEO or PPC or affiliate marketing, I really wanted to focus on social media. And I hadn't seen other agencies at least at that time, focusing strictly on social. And so when I started micro media marketing, I decided to focus strictly on everything related to social media because, that's really what I gravitated towards and I loved.
Right. So now, is there a particular kind of social media or every particular platform that you like, or you guys pretty much cover the gamut as long as it's social?
So over time, it's definitely changed a lot. When we first started, Facebook and Twitter was around, and businesses weren't really, there weren't any business pages out there. Nowadays, the most recent platform we've launched is Snapchat, which we don't have for every client, but we are starting to run it for some starting last year. Mm-hmm. So we basically work with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, Snapchat, YouTube, Google+, but really, I don't like to put every client on every platform.
Right.
I usually like to look at the client, see who they're targeting. Let's say you're targeting predominantly a woman's demographic and you're selling products, then I would say you definitely need to be on Pinterest, and we want to look at Instagram if you have a visual product. So I don't think you need to be everywhere. I think you should pick the top platforms based on who you're trying to target and where your audience is at.
Good. I love it. And I love that you've actually locked down and you focused on particular ones. I know I dabble a little bit in what you do, and I have my favorites that I recommend to people.
Yeah.
And there are some times where people are like, I really want to be on Instagram, and it's just not. Sometimes it's just not the appropriate platform. So I love that I can come to you sometime, or people can come to you and say, you'll say, no, that's wrong. Don't do that. This is the right place to be. So you've been in business, I think you said, is it 8 years coming up in April?
Yeah, April's going to be 8 years, which is hard to believe. So I've been working with social media. I would be 10 years now, which makes me sound and feel a little bit old now. But yeah, this year will be our 8th year.
Very cool. Now, when you started off your business, a lot of us start off as solopreneurs, as a single person, for lack of a better term, a single household mom kind of running the business kind of thing. Did you start that way and eventually grow till you realized you needed more people? Or did you ever get to the point where you were like overwhelmed? You're like, okay, I have to offload 80% of it and I do this part of it. How did that happen to where you were starting your business and you knew you reached the point to where you had to be more productive, you had to involve other people?
Absolutely. When I first started, I would say for the first 1 to 2 years, I was building up my client base, and I was well known in the online marketing space, but I had just started on my own. So I could show examples of some work I had done, but I was really spending time building up my clients, and I was running everything myself.
Okay.
So I would be, let's say we would be on a call. I would also get off a call with you and be monitoring pages on my phone or on my iPad. And I was always connected 24/7.
Right.
And it was really fun. But it was also, after we got to a certain amount of clients, it got to the point where there was no way, I could keep up with everything that was going on. And I knew I needed some help. And at that point, I had enough revenue to be able to hire people to work with me. So the first thing I did was I hired a full-time social media manager, and he was like my right hand and took on the accounts that I was working on. And my main focus was making sure that strategies and clients were getting everything that they needed and talking to them and making sure we were in the loop.
Right.
Now, fast forward, we have 8 people that we're working with that are managers. I have someone that's dedicated to running all the ads.
Right.
So certain things that you need to look at and think about when you're running a business. The first thing is, I'm glad I did everything because I know what certain people can handle, and I know how many accounts someone can run depending on the size of the account. And I've personally done it myself. And sometimes when someone's new, I'll even go in there myself for a few days just to get a good feel for the size of the account. And, there are some accounts that need multiple people monitoring, depending on the size of the engagement. So it's great to get in there and understand all the sides of your business, but it's also important to know your strengths and your weaknesses and know what you should be outsourcing and what you should focus on yourself.
Good. So right now, do you have like the perfect setup where you said, I think we were talking at a time, you pretty much do like the onboarding and the strategy, and then it's handed off to the rest of your team, right?
Right. So right now, when I start working with a client, the first thing we always do is develop a strategy before we manage anything for them. And that's really important so that they're happy and they sign off on everything that we're going to be doing for them.
Right.
So I'm heavily involved in the strategy process and in speaking with the clients about what we're going to be doing. So let's say Valentine's Day is coming up. We might have some different ideas for campaigns. So we'll talk to the clients and touch base with them on what we're going to be putting out there. And if there are certain products or services they want to highlight, we'll make sure to feature that. So I oversee the strategies, and then my team implements it onto the pages. So, let's say they're managing 5 social media platforms. They'll go in and make sure that the messages are being posted across there. And then they also monitor all the pages. So they take care of that side. On another side, I have someone running all the advertisements and reporting so that clients know at the end of the day what's going on with all of their campaigns.
Good deal. So your clients get back some hard metrics so they know exactly where every single dollar
went.
It's
so much better now than it was when we first started. Every platform didn't have analytics to it, and now you get a lot of great information that we didn't have before. So it's really great to be able to show them real numbers.
That's awesome. I use I get every single one of my clients a dashboard, like from day one. There's a dashboard you can drag and drop all these widgets, and it's like real time, like hourly monitoring. You can see what we're doing.
Like that. I wonder.
Well, what letter does it begin with?
C.
Yes, we have the same one.
Okay. Well, it doesn't. We could say what it is. I don't know if you want to or not.
No, it's Scythe, right?
Yeah.
It's
great. It's great for them not to have to always wait on the reporting and to be able to just look at the dashboard and see what's going on across the platforms.
And actually, to tell you the truth, for me, for a lot of the times when I'm trying to close someone, that's actually the thing that pushes them over the edge. And then I'm not sure, should I put money in this? I don't know where it's going to go. I have no idea. Oh, I can just see where the money is going. Yeah. Okay. Good deal. Okay. Good. I'm glad I know I picked something that Stephanie picked.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a good pick there. So now, when you talk about, let's get a little bit more about like the time management of your week.
Yeah.
Because you have 8 people, is it 8 people total or 8 people plus Stephanie?
8 people and Stephanie.
8 people and Stephanie. Okay. Do you have a structure to your week, like Monday through Friday, when it comes to the team does this, this, and this, and you have team meetings, this and this there? Or is it kind of a haphazard thing? Can you kind of go into that a little bit about how do you structure your week to make sure you know what's going on, your team knows what's going on, and there's no ambiguity in the schedule?
It was getting to the point where I was in so many meetings and there wasn't enough of me. Mm-hmm. So now I structured it in a much better way that saves time and it's more efficient. Right. So one thing, I used to have meetings that were a lot longer. So now I have meetings that are capped at 30 minutes.
Nice.
And we use I think it's freeconferencecall.com actually.
Right.
We use a conference line. So a lot of the times I'm not figuring out who's calling who or what's going on. Everyone dials in. So even if it's 5 people or 10 people on a call, we just use a conference line to do that. And what we do is we have a calendar that we collaborate on for clients. So we usually, depending on the client, but we'll usually just use Google Docs where we have a calendar set up and we'll go in and plug in what's going on with the strategy, what kind of content's going out. Right. And the client can also go in and plug certain things in if they want anything added or make any edits to what we're going to be posting. So they know ahead of time what's going on. And then we touch base with them weekly or bi-weekly. And we talk about what we're going to, it depends on the client. Some clients we'll talk to once a week. Some we'll talk to every other week. And we do mention the schedule. We mention what's coming up, things that worked well, things that we want to tweak. And that's the great time. Like we'll have agendas for those calls and then the clients will be able to see everything that's going on. And usually when you have one call, you have a list of everything that's going on, and then certain things will become tasks that people need to work on. Right. And they'll always be updated, and they're always like in the loop as to what's going on. So it's really nice for them to be able to jump in and look at the calendar. It's really easy for the social media manager as well because they can see what's going on right in there. So anyone can look at the calendar at any given day and see what's going to be going out on the pages.
Got it. So interesting. So I've talked to other people like you who have to run a large team. A lot of them use like full-blown project management tools like Trello or Teamwork. But do you guys do everything inside Google Calendar, or do you try those tools?
I've used Teamwork.
Right.
So I have different clients have different things that they like to use. So Slack is something that some of my clients use that we collaborate on. Okay. Slack is really good for communication. So we'll have certain topics and people will go in there and they can upload files into that. Right. I hate Teamwork. I've used it. I tend to be really, flexible for clients, and I'll collaborate how they would want to. But I personally have not liked working with it. There's so many emails and so many things coming in and so many people commenting that it just became a lot of noise. And I actually personally like working with Google Docs, but I would say if you want to manage your team in a nice dashboard that's really clean, Slack is really nice. You can even, upload it on your phone as well. Right. I've got it on my phone. Yep. But when I looked at organizing my team and everything, for me, I have a lot of stuff. Like I have my calendar in Google. I have, we put in the calendar for the clients in there, and we put in the reports in there. And I like that everyone can collaborate and put in their little notes, and they can even ask me questions on the reports, and I can go back in and check and respond. And I can see like who's in there and who's done what, and everyone can add in their little notes. So I personally have liked using that.
Oh, interesting. So I mean, I live on Google. Everything's on Google.
Right. Yeah.
Uh,
It just syncs with everything that I have.
right. And we are using Teamwork right now. And so now I'm
Really?
questioning whether or not it was a good
It's
choice.
a personal preference, I think.
Right.
Um, it is nice to be able to go in and assign tasks, but you can do that in Google as well.
Yeah, that's a
So
very good point. We've tried Basecamp also.
yes, I used
And
to do Basecamp too.
I've heard
Also,
people say Basecamp
like it.
it doesn't have the structure that like a Teamwork has or like a Google Calendar has.
For some reason, I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to have meetings about meetings.
Right.
And I feel like it was more of a time suck than
Okay.
it helped to organize. Um, but I think that's just a personal preference. There are a lot of people that love it. I
hmm
will say Slack, I thought was really clean. But it was
Right.
more for communication with it. If you have a big team you need to communicate with, you can set
Right.
a group for marketing and a group for, accounting. And it
hmm
is, I think, really clean. But yeah, I have a client that got Google Suite and we were looking at how it organized tasks and it was really easy to use.
No, I'm gonna have to go back and revisit because my entire team is set up on Google. I've just never thought of it for task management.
Right,
And I really like the fact that you pointed out that Slack's good for communication.
right,
I'm in, a lot of Facebook groups that have to do with marketing, and sometimes people will pop in and say, "Hey, I need a good tool for project management," and people will say Slack, and I'm like, Slack's good for lots of things, but not necessarily for like managing tasks and
right,
deadlines and things like that. It's you always use the best tool for the project, and you shouldn't be trying to use a hammer to screw in a
right.
Phillips head screw kind of thing. But I
Yeah.
discovered Slack probably about six months ago, and I'm in love with it.
Yeah. Great for communication. Definitely.
Right. And I've also noticed that depending on, there are companies now that like if you want to interface with them from the outside, they have like Slack, they have internal Slack channels and external Slack channels. So for example, we use Wistia a lot for video hosting.
Okay.
Wistia has a Slack site for clients like me, and I can hop in, and Wistia's staff
Oh,
is
that's
on
awesome.
there. And
Oh, that's really cool.
even then, it's separated into marketing, introduce yourself, upcoming conferences, things like that. So I can get like live help. And since there's other clients in there also, we're all helping each other, but it's not a forum. It's not a Facebook group. It's a live chat for
Right.
things like that. So Wistia is the first company I've seen do that, allow
That's
external
really
people
cool.
into their Slack world. So now this is a good segue because earlier we were also talking about tools. So we know that you use Slack. We know that you use Google Tasks and Google Calendars. Are there some other tools that you like that keep Stephanie's world organized and coloring within the lines and keep her perfectly organized?
Yeah. So one thing, when people want to set meetings, I use Calendly.
Okay.
So what Calendly does is I can space out. I set meetings with like intro meetings for 30 minutes at a time.
Right.
And it has the dial-in number ready. So people
Mm-hmm.
can just go in and they can see my calendar. They can see blocks of time that are available. And then I can approve meetings that they set on the calendar.
Right.
So that saves a lot of time. And you can even set them for, whatever time frame you want. And you can block out times that you don't want to make available. And
Nice.
that's something else that I do as well that I think a lot of people don't do it. I have a friend that does this a lot. She's always pulled into meetings 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Is you need to block out time to do certain things that might not be an actual meeting, to make sure that no one else, like, if you have someone setting your calendar, Patrick, like if there's a time, you have to make sure you're working on a strategy or you're checking back with emails even.
Right.
I will block, and I'll have certain times of the day where I won't set anything else, so that I can make sure that, if I have to send proposals or work on strategies, I have that time, and it's
Right.
actually a blocked time in my calendar.
Very cool. Oh, I love this. I got some stuff to say about this after we get talking about more of your tools. So Calendly, I use, what do I use? Schedule Ones. I use Schedule Ones for what you use Calendly for.
Okay.
So what other tools do you like besides Calendly?
I had written down the free conference call, but I said that we were talking about Earth Class Mail earlier.
Okay, that's right. Tell me about that.
That's something that actually, let's say that you're traveling. Like I know you've been traveling quite a bit. I travel a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really have time to always be home and be checking the mail, or if you get a check in the mail, they actually go in, they can scan everything and send it to you, which is
Nice.
really nice. And they can go deposit checks for you, which
Oh,
is a
very
great
cool.
time saver. And for my other clients, I would say I have like 95% of my clients on auto pay.
Right?
I use FreshBooks, which I like. It's very similar to QuickBooks.
Mm-hmm.
And so all my clients are set up on auto pay. So their invoices go out and they get processed within a couple days. And that's also, obviously a really nice setting. And then for people that work with me, I have them set up to get paid through Chase Quick Pay, and it just goes through, also very seamless. You can also automate it.
Cool.
That works well if you have set invoices that or set amounts that you're going to pay people that are going to be the same amounts every month.
Right.
So then that has saved hours and hours. I used to have someone dedicated to doing the accounting, and now I don't need that anymore.
Okay.
So that
Very
saved
cool.
time and money. So that's been really nice.
Okay.
Those are some of the ones off the top of my head.
Very cool. I love FreshBooks. That's what I used when I first started up, and now I have to admit I moved to QuickBooks because
you like QuickBooks better. I feel like I should switch.
I would, if it'll make your life more complicated. I'll just tell you right now, because I've actually considered switching back.
Okay.
I took on a bookkeeper recently, and I want to make her life easier and my life easier. And it's almost like QuickBooks is just like the uber mega tool, and I'm never sure that I need the uber mega tool when it comes to things. So I remember when I did use FreshBooks, and I still have a FreshBooks account, how easy it was. It was just so clean and easy.
That's something that, and when I switched paying people through Chase Quick Pay and using FreshBooks and doing all these different things, my accountant had like a much easier time, and everything was just like a seamless process. The reason I started using FreshBooks was because a friend recommended it to me, and I'm not that much into the finance side, and I had hired someone to do that side for me. But I found FreshBooks to be so easy. I even have an app on my phone so I can see, I know invoices are sent out on a certain day. I still think it's good to go in and make sure everything went out and everything looks normal.
Right.
But it is really easy even for people that are not super experienced in that area.
Very cool. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I always think QuickBooks seems to be like the more serious version of it, and I feel like I should do it. But I'm glad you said you were thinking about it, because
I know I'm a little bit embarrassed. Yeah, I am. QuickBooks. I thought at some point in time I needed like a full, because this is what used to happen. I actually used to use both, so I was the worst. I used to do because QuickBooks used to not have invoicing, so I'd have to do everything in FreshBooks and then replicate it over in QuickBooks. And so once QuickBooks got invoicing and online payment, then I knew I could totally get rid of FreshBooks. But yeah, I'll admit I logged in my FreshBooks account like last week for the first time in a year to make sure to check all the new features and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Now, we've talked about I'm really into time management. I know we're actually I don't want to consume too much of your time, but we also briefly talked about ahead of time, I'm all about outsourcing and 80-20 and the whole theory from Richard Koch. And we've talked about what you do on the business side. Are there things like on the personal side when it comes to time management, which you've totally dumped off because you don't like to do them and you'd rather pay to have someone do them than to do them yourself? I'd love to hear about that stuff.
Okay. In my building, there's actually something called, I wrote Press Box.
Okay.
They have a locker where you can go in and put your dry cleaning in, and then a couple of days later it's right there.
Right.
I am the kind of person that will be in meetings all day long.
Right.
And I will forget to eat food, literally. It'll be like 3 o'clock and I haven't had lunch because I've just been on calls.
Right.
So and this is bad, but I use Postmates to deliver
Post?
Postmates.
Right.
It's an app that it's really nice because it tracks exactly where they are and how long it's going to take to get there.
Right.
And you can put the tip like right on your phone, and they'll deliver from any restaurant pretty much that you want, but they'll also pick up, like if you want them to pick something up from a grocery store, or you're missing certain things, it doesn't have to be food. Like if you need something, they can go and pick it up for you.
Cool.
So I use Postmates a lot if I realize there's no food. Now, Instacart, I haven't gone so far as to use Instacart, but I do know a lot of people in the city that use Instacart that delivers actual groceries to your door.
Right, that would be cool.
I still go to the grocery store. I haven't gone that far. But it's important when you're busy and you're running a business not to forget about taking care of yourself. And one thing that I've done, when I say that I would schedule certain times out for myself, I do have a trainer that I schedule a couple times a week, and that's in my calendar. You know, it's at night, so it's like after hours, but I take it as seriously as I would going to an event.
Right.
Because that's another, and I know you've been getting really healthy too, and I've been seeing what you've been posting. That's another important part about running a business, and just growing and doing well is taking care of yourself and being healthy and working out. And that also leads to more productivity. So, I don't have it, but I was thinking about getting a Fitbit or getting something that just reminds you to get up. When you work online or you have a home office,
right,
it's hard to remember to just go outside and take a walk. So at least right now, twice a week, I'll go and meet up with my trainer, and I'll go do a really hard workout. And it's only a 30-minute time frame. I mean, there's apps out there like Daily Burn that you can do for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and they're really hardcore, and it'll make a difference in your overall outlook and just energy level.
Right. And I remember
What have you been doing?
I want to touch a little bit on the fact that the fixed appointments you talked about, because that's something I started doing probably about a year ago. And that actually ties very well into the fitness we're talking about. That for me, it's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 6 to 7 is non-optional gym time. Right. And unless I screw up my sleep cycle on the other end, I don't get to bed till like 1 o'clock in the morning. Right. As long as I get to bed in my 10 to 11 o'clock time range, my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock. I am in my car at 5:50, and I'm at the gym front door. Awesome. As the lady's unlocking it, I'm like one of the first ones there, opening it up, getting on the Stairmaster right there. And then you were also talking about putting your own fixed appointments in their calendar, even if they're not meetings. There are things internally that you have to do. That's usually what the end of my week is. For example, Thursday, we're Thursday right now. Thursday is media day for me. It's the day I do my interviews. It's the day I generate my internal media. If I'm doing any blogging for myself, because all that stuff actually is marketing for me. And then Friday mornings is school volunteer time, and Friday afternoon is get ready for the next week time right there. But I remember after I first met you, I thought this was kind of cool. After I first met you, we're talking about the fitness thing. I remember that all I saw out of Stephanie was push-ups. Every week there were just push-ups all over the place. Tell me about that. That was,
my cousin, he's in the military, and he inspired me. And, that was to raise awareness for PTSD. And it was really important. And I was trying to get other people involved to do the push-ups with me. It was a 22-day challenge. I actually got the local firemen to do it with me, which was really fun.
Right.
It's a big deal, and I didn't realize how serious it was. So I'm glad I learned about it. But that being said, doing the push-ups every day for 22 days, it was a small thing that took a few minutes, but that built like a bit of a habit.
Right.
And that got me more fit. And I even inspired my dad to start doing push-ups every day.
Oh, cool.
And, he's getting, they're getting to like retirement age, and he's like, you know what, doing that every single day makes me feel even that much better. So how many days does it take to to make
a habit.
Yeah, I think it's something like around 20 days or.
I was going to say 10, but 20 is probably better.
It really started becoming so much easier and just a part of my day. That's something that, it's easy to incorporate. Something else that a lot of people do is start their day with a little bit of meditation and a little bit of yoga. I would say I'm more of a boxing push-ups kind of gal, but I did download an app that I wrote it down. I think it's called Relax and Rest. So I am very bad at relaxing.
Right.
During the holidays, I got a massage and the lady told me to relax. And all I was doing was laying on the table. Somehow she could sense that I don't know how to relax. She was like, just relax. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just laying here waiting for the massage. So
come on, let's get this massage going. I'm ready to relax. Make me relax.
Right. So there's little things like that are, seriously, if you look at apps or you look at videos on YouTube, you can find these really nice videos, whether it's for meditation and yoga or whether it's for P90X and something more hardcore.
Right.
These are all things that are really good. I think yoga is so good for your mind. And, when you're starting out your day, that's a great way to get things started and become, and then you can focus on what's the most important thing that you have coming up, and you look at your schedule and see what you need to focus on for that day, what's urgent and what can be done later or what you can delegate. But that's, I think, really important too.
That's cool. I agree with you. I'm more of the physical kind of, I'd probably more inclined to do boxing like you than versus yoga. I like to tell people, if you ever see like a 6'2", 275-pound guy do yoga, it's not pretty. And I also think if we did yoga next to each other, our comparative sizes. I remember when I first hugged you, and you're just. I'm not going to make fun of you at all. You're just smaller than me. Okay, I'm 6 foot tall, black guy. Here is Stephanie. Stephanie is like a smaller person, and if I fell on you during yoga, it would break something. So,
oh my gosh.
So yeah, yoga is not CrossFit's my thing. Running's not my thing. Weights, I love weights too. But I'm taking some notes on some of these apps also because I'm jealous of the fact that you have a trainer. I've always wanted a trainer, and
but it's not that everyone has to have a trainer. For me, if I go to a gym, I was just not getting much.
Okay, I may have lost you there. You may have locked up on me. Are you still there? Okay, hopefully Stephanie will come back here. And are you back?
Yeah.
Okay, you locked up there for a second. Go ahead.
I was saying, some people can't just go to the gym and work out. You can maybe take a class at the gym. You can go take a class. There's a lot of people that use ClassPass. Instead of joining a gym, you can just grab a couple classes and you can try different classes around the city.
Right. Got it. So it's called ClassPass is what you guys use? And we're locked up again. Doggone it. Okay, we'll give it a couple seconds and see if she comes back. Okay, we may have lost Stephanie. Well, most of our interview was done. So we'll just, okay, are you back now? Okay, I can't hear you. All I can do is see you. Okay, there you go. Okay, now you're back.
I was saying you don't have to have a trainer. You can use ClassPass.
ClassPass, that's what we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, it lets you try classes around different locations. Or you can just download apps and literally just do it like right in the comfort of your home too.
Got it. And and I remember the thing I was admired when you were doing the 22-day challenge, because it was like wherever you were, whatever you were wearing, you would like stop, drop, and do 22 days. So it's like, is she in a cocktail dress doing push-ups like out at the club? or something like that. I mean, it was wherever Stephanie was, it was the 22 push-ups right then and there. So that was kind of cool.
I got it done.
Okay, there we go. You were locked up there again for a second. But this time the lockup was cool because it was like your face and a big giant smile right there on my screen. I was like, that's the perfect way to end it right there. Okay. So let's wrap up a little bit. I do want to give people the chance to figure out where to follow you on social media and learn more about your business. Can you pimp yourself out here a little bit?
Sure. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at MicroSteph. And then to follow my business, you just follow Micro Media Marketing, and maybe we'll throw in some links down there. Mm-hmm. To learn more about what we do, I would go to micromediamarketing.com. If you click on Contact Us, I'll actually be able to see what you send, so you can tweet me or email me any questions. I love talking about social media, so I can even check out your social media pages.
Nice.
Personally, now that I have so many social media managers, I'm doing more consulting for companies that have their own teams. Right. So if you have a team that you think needs a strategy or needs guidance, or you want to grow your social, that's something else that I'm offering right now, or consulting times with me. So.
Very cool. Okay, now here's a completely here's a completely random question that I'd like to know, that our listeners might like to know, because after we got off the boat in New York, and you were like, I don't want to go home. This is my city. We're going to go all over the place. So if I was to go back to the city and text you and I'd say, Stephanie, what's one of the really great places that we stopped and ate in New York that you would highly recommend? Where do you like to go back in that old neighborhood that we kind of stopped in? Where do you like to go every time you're in New York?
Okay. If you want a really laid back, delicious, like I would go, even on my way to the airport, I would stop back there and go again. Luke's Lobster is my favorite. You can do the Taste of Maine, and you can try the lobster roll, the shrimp roll, or the crab roll. But personally, I love the shrimp roll, and it's like $7. So great for lunch. It's a small little place, but it really around the East Village area. It's more near Union Square. Right. That's an amazing place. They change up their menu seasonally, and I just love it.
Where was the place we went? We went up, and it was second story, and that's where your husband joined us, and we sat there and had like an adult beverage, and it started raining. Where was that?
Oh man, we went to a lot of places that day.
We did.
I'm trying to. I took you mainly around the East Village and around Union Square. That was my old stomping ground. And there's so many good little restaurants and bars around there. I mean, they're literally like around every corner. Right. The bar that you're talking about, I do not recall the name of that bar.
Yeah, we set up like on the corner, and then your husband joined us. And then you called a friend. And this is one of the things I remember about running around with Stephanie is, like, as we started going around the evening, we like picked up people, and like Stephanie's posse started growing wherever we went. And so that was pretty cool. I had a blast. And I think hanging out with you was one of my best introductions to New York once my heart rate started calming down from dashing across New York. Thank you very much for your time. I'll try to get this out here in a couple of weeks. And it's a pleasure talking to you. It's a pleasure meeting you in person. And I wish you the best of success. And I can't wait to hang out with you and your husband again. Even when your husband showed up, I mean, the party just got bigger with the two of you there. It was pretty cool.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited what you're doing with Stop Doing Nothing. I think everyone can take a little bit about this and apply it to their everyday, and just go and build your dreams and do what you love. So thank you.
My pleasure. I look forward to talking to you next time. You take care, Stephanie.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.